Good morning, all. Good morning, all. We'll start today's session. So the session will be handled by. Sorry for the disturbance. Good morning, all. We will start today's session. Today's session will be handled by Dr. Geeta Patil, Associate Professor, Department of ISC.
Yes, thank you. Very good morning to all of you who are here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. Am I audible? Okay. Is my screen visible? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So, very warm welcome to the third day of mobile application development using Android OS FDP. So in today's session, today's learning objectives is going to be, we are going to understand what are threads and how threads are created and used in Android operating system. And the second point is we are going to see how do different activities communicate with each other by using intents? And for this, we are going to look at a phone dialer application. So let us begin with our first agenda, first point, where we are going to look at the concepts, thread concept. Let us understand what is thread, what are different types of threads which are available in Android OS, why threads are required, how they are created, and how do threads communicate, how do threads send information or data with other threads. So this is today's agenda about threads. So let us understand one thing. When you are executing any app, okay, or when you are for that matter with respect to conventional operating system also, when you are launching any application, when I'm opening the window, when I'm opening this Adobe Reader, a process is created. So when you're writing some program, okay, the program is a passive entity. It is available on your hard disk. Now, when you want to use that program, the program should be active. So that active entity is called as process. So you define process as process is is a program in execution. You can define process like that. Now, when you are, let's look at the word Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word, when you open some file open, a file from the hard disk is open. So this Microsoft Office has got a code to open the file, has got a code to communicate file open activity, right? So Microsoft Word has got a code. When the file is open, the file itself is called as data. When you're writing your C program is consisting of code. It has got some data, local or global variables associated with it. It requires association of different files. Plus, when the instructions of the program are executed, it uses the resources available with the processor, like registers, stack, and so on. So when you are creating a process, when I am launching a Word document, or when I'm opening a Microsoft Word, a corresponding process is created, and that process has got this parameters: code, data, some of the files which it requires, registers, and stack. Right? So it consumes some resources. Now, when a new process is created, when you're opening your Microsoft Word for second time, new process is created, and that process is associated with similar parameters, right? So instead of doing that, we are introducing multi-threaded process. In case of multi-threaded process, within a process, multiple threads are created. What is the specialty of threads? Threads share resources heavily. You can see like this in this diagram over here, we have a process which is consisting of 3 threads. This 3 threads has got the common data area, that is code area is common. They share the data, they share the files opened by the application. What is different is the status of the processor, which is made up of registers, stacks, and other parameters which are required when the thread is actually executing. When it is in running state, whatever parameters are required are the only resources which are belonging to individual thread. Right? So when new thread is created, the resource requirement of that thread is less. And hence, we say that thread is a lightweight process. Since the resource requirement are less, time required to work with threads is less. I mean, like the scheduling of the threads, like when the thread switches, when the processor switches from one thread to the another thread, overhead in this context switch activity is less. That is why threads are preferred. Okay, so when you're looking at your Android operating system, when I'm looking at my mobile, you can see. Sorry, ma'am. Yeah. So when you're seeing this mobile device, there are multiple apps available. When you're launching any app, let's say like I'm using this app for like Google Map. When I'm launching this app, the process for this particular app is created. So every app whenever you are using it, whenever you are launching it, corresponding process for that app is created. Number one, app is consisting of multiple threads. Okay, to gain performance in terms of time, multiple app is made up of multiple threads. Right? And out of this multiple thread, one of the thread is a main thread, which is called as UI, user interface thread, and other threads are called as worker thread. Those other threads are going to perform work for this UI thread. So these are different types of threads which are available in Android operating system. Main thread, which is a UI thread, which will continuously run when the app is there, app is running. And other threads, once they finish with the required work, that is this worker threads, once they finish with the assigned work, they will be coming, they will terminate. So now let us understand with example why threads are required. Okay, okay. Before even knowing the requirements why threads are required, let us see how threads are created. There are two methods which are used for creating the thread. One is by extending thread class. When you are extending thread class, methods which are implemented in the thread class are available for the object which is extending thread class, which is being created in a class which extends this thread class. And second is by implementing runnable interface. When we are implementing runnable interface, run method is the one which is available for the object. So let's see both these ways of creating the thread by using example over here. So first method of creating the thread is by extending thread class. So we have a class over here, class multi, in which we want to implement a run method of a thread. So we are saying, when we want to do it, we say that class multi extends thread. Okay, it is derived from class thread, and in this class we have this run method. Okay, so run in this run method, it is system.out.println, which is just printing the message thread is running. And here we are talking about the Java thread. So now we have in this class a main function, main method, public static void main, from where the execution of the program starts in Java. We are creating new object of multi-class, multi t1 is equals to new multi. The object of multi-class is created, and we say t1 dot start. When we say t1 dot start, the run method from the class which extends thread will start executing. Control will go to run method of the class which extends thread. So it will go to this run method and it will start running. It will, whatever the code inside this run method will start executing. So for us, when you are executing this program, it will just display this message, thread is running. So output is shown over here as thread is running. So this is about creating the thread by using extend method. The second is by using implementing method. So in this case, we have the class multi which implements runnable, meaning it is going to give the definition of run function. So you have public void run. So we are defining the run method over here. And then in public static void main, the main function, we have created an object of multi3 class. So M1 is an object of multi3 class. Now make a note over here that we cannot use M1 dot start there. When you are using this implement method, in order to use a run method, we have to create a object of thread class. Okay, so we have created T1, which is an object of thread class. Thread T1 is equals to new thread M1. That means the T1, the object of thread class, takes as a parameter M1, which is the object of multi-class, and in M1 we have implemented run method. So when this thread T1 calls dot start class, it is going to run the method which is there implemented in the class of M1 object. The class of M1 object is multi3, and in this multi3 run method is there, and this is the method which will be used by T1 object of thread. So T1 dot start, when we say, this method will be executed and it will display this method message thread is running. So this is about implementation of thread in Java. When it comes to implementation of thread in Android operating system, we will not have this, we will have just this class multi extends thread, and we will be implementing this run method in which the necessary code, required code will be written. Now let's move to why threads are required in Android operating system. Before moving to this, I'm just let's have a look at the application design, which talks about the thread requirement, which will tell us, invoke the requirement of threads in Android. So let's say, like, I have this application, we have to design, we have to implement this application which is used for counting purpose. Okay, so let me define my application that way. We have a simple counter, and this counter, what do I want to do is, I want to count certain certain events. Now in our first application, what I'm going to consider over here, my requirement is like this. I want to design an app to count. Let's say, like, I'm doing a breathing exercise, I want to count how many breathing cycles I have completed. To do this, after completing a breathing cycle, I'll just click on this count button, and when the count is clicked, the count of breathing should be displayed. It should be incremented. So first, initially the count, this number of breathing count is set to 0. When I click on count, it will become 1. Next time I count on count, it will become 2, and so on. So when the count is pressed, I want the counter value to be incremented, and with this reset, the count value should be set to 0. So in this variation of the counter, threads are not required, but what I want to say over here is, given an application, based on the requirement, you can design it in multiple ways. So in yesterday's session, we have looked at how do we design the layout. I mean, like, how do we put these different views, different elements on this activity and set our layout. So again, like, with respect to this application, we are having two text view buttons, simple counter and 0 are two text view elements present, and count and reset are the buttons present on this application. So XML, let me take you through the code which is required, I mean code which is used for designing this simple counter, and then we will be modifying it. So XML code design is ready for us. So let's not worry much about it. And the code of the designed XML file is shown over here. It is consisting of it is consisting of edit view, which is really not required. We can work with text view there, because we're not going to change value of simple counter. So simple this is the first leaf node of our componentry text view, which is used for displaying the message simple counter, and the various parameters required for the placement of this text view are given. Then we are having the second text, which is used for displaying the count value, which is initialized with value as 0. Then we have a button count, which is used for counting number of elements, which are number of number of events which are happened, and with reset we are going to do the resetting of the counter. So these are the only four parameters, four components which are required in our XML. Now let's go to Java file. In the Java file, recall what we had done today. We need to connect two buttons which are present, count button and stop button. We need to connect, and we need to get the details of text view count. Yeah. So text view count, we need to count, we need to have the connection. So on create function of this, these are by default it will come, and then we are setting the reference. So count, button count is mapped with button count in XML file. Button stop is matched. It is referred. It is connected to button stop from the XML file, but text count is connected to the text count of XML file. So once this connections is done, once this linking is done, we are going to call set on click listener for button stop and button count. Now what would we do in on click listener is there. So the code, when the button is clicked, on click function is called for those buttons. So we are having on click function over here written. In this function you check if v dot equals, if the button this on click function takes a parameter which is argument of view v. So you check if v dot equal button count. You check if that view is equals to button count. If so, the counter value is incremented by 1. So counter becomes counter plus 1. As if it is not button count, you check if the button what is clicked, the view what is there is equals to button stop. If it is equals to button stop, then the counter is made as 0. After doing this, we have to change the text appeared in the text count field. So to do it, we have this method txt count dot set text. You have to set the text. So to we are reading the value of a counter. So by using string dot value of counter, the counter value is read. It is converted to a string, and it is set as text of txt count text view. Okay, so that this is what is done in this click function. When you are let's execute this once and see whether it's working or no. Any doubts so far? Yes. So Gradle build is running, it is happening. Yes. Yeah. So still configuration is happening for this. Many of you have installed Android Studio successfully. If you have done, you can put that in chat box, please. So install launching activity. Yeah, now it got installed on my mobile. So let's say like one task is done. When I press count, count is becoming 1. So every time the main thread, that is a UI thread, when this app is launched, UI thread for this app is created. The app is going to listen. Okay, there is something called as looper. This looper is going to keep on. It is going to see the activities which are happening in your app. So it will whenever we are clicking this count button, the listener of this count button will call on click method. So what should happen when you are clicking it is defined over here. Counter value should be incremented. So that is what is happening. When you say count, your the text field over here is red. The value of the text field is red, and it is incremented by 1. So when I press reset, the value of that counter value is made as 0, and that is what is displayed. So this app works successfully, and this code is required for me to explain further the concept of thread with respect to this counter. So let me just quickly check how many of you have installed this. Yeah, so a couple of you have installed it. Can you run this code and check if there? I mean, like you can take down, note down this code and execute it. If there are any problems, let me know. Because based on this, only the later like the functionality of threads, why with the requirements of threads will be clear to you guys. Okay, so this is a code, simple code for code for implementing simple counter. Maybe you can take, let me just take a hold for 5 minutes also and give you some time for implementing it. Let me keep the design side by side so that you can refer that also. Sorry. Yeah. Give me a minute. Yes. You can design the counter looking at the layout in the PDF file, and the corresponding, the functionality is defined in this main activity.java. Have you all done? People with system and installed um, Android Studio. Have you people done? Completed? If no, you can put no in the chat box, please. Is it done? Okay, let me do one thing over here. I'll from this basic simple calculator, we will go to the next variation of it. In the next variation, I do not want to increment the count only when I click on the start button. But once I click on the start button, I want the count to be incremented periodically. Okay, so this is what I want to design. I want to modify this counter from the simple counter to auto increment counter. So to do this, in this activity, in our objective is to design an activity with two buttons, start and stop, and one text box, one text field. And the functionality of this is that start button, when you are clicking, when you are pressing on the start button, counter should start from 1 and should be incremented periodically. This is what your start, this is what is the functionality defined for the start button, given for the start button. For the stop button, on pressing of the stop button, counter should stop incrementing. And this text field is used for displaying the counter value. So this is my requirement. This is the requirement of the application, what is given, and to the activity layout, the layout design layout is given over here. To use this design, using this design, let us create a new project with this design and the given functionality. So let me do it right from the scratch for you people. So file, new, let me close this project, file, close project, and create a new project. With empty activity, I'm selecting empty activity. People, please, if you have got resources with you, do it in parallel. And if you want me to stop somewhere, let me know about it. Okay. So next, my application. I will give the application name as maybe a counter exercise. It is saved in this location. Language used, yesterday we have selected the language as Java, so by default it will take it as Java, and it works on any Android 5 Lollipop SDK is the one what I'm going to use, and say finish. So the new project will be created. It is it will again take some time for loading required components. Still it is taking time for configuring this app project. Let it configure, and then we will start with our design. So we require text views, 2 text views. Yeah. I just maybe set up the constraint for it. Start of this is constrained by start of the parent, end is constrained by end of the parent, top of this is constrained by top of the parent, right? And we need to set up the margin for this. So just take it down like this, and we have to, the counter application is the title of this application. So let us change that in the text parameter, text attribute of text view. So counter application is the name of this, and let us set the size of the text. If I'm not finding the attribute, I will be typing it. So size, text size, it is 14 sp. Let us change it to maybe 30 sp. So we get it quite bigger. Then after this, what else is required for this attribute? That's all. So next is we have a counter value. The next text view I will be inserting is counter value. So once inserted, let me change the text field associated with it. So I want it as counter value, which is set to 0. Okay. Or like when you are starting with your application, if you want it as counter value, it is taken as counter value. The size of text field is changed to, let's say, like 24 sp, or if we want it bigger, then take it again as 30. 30 is going with the title. Let us take the size as 28 sp. No, it doesn't take 28, so we have to change little smaller value. And start of this view is constrained by start of the parent, end is constrained with end of the parent, top is constrained with bottom of counter application label. I think they have not changed the name of label. Let us change it. ID. ID is text view 2. So let us change it to text counter value, CNT value, and the ID of our first label, it's not changed. If it doesn't happen over here, we will be changing it from the code. So just go to the code and change the ID of text view, txt count, ID of this counter application title is CLT title txt, sorry, txt title, and then we are saying over here the red line, which means that this bottom top constraint for text count is not found. Okay, so we'll have to change this. Remapping we have to do. Text view we are changing to text title. Problem will be solved. So now next is the margin from top is not 56 as per the design parameter. It is 100 dp, and margin for this text view counter value from top is 30 dp. So from top layout margin top is 30 dp. We have done it. Next we are having two buttons. So let me insert this buttons from code. So layout width of the button is wrap content, height of the button is wrap content, and our end tag of OK. Apart from this, we are having ID associated with this button. ID of the button is taken as ID of the button is, let's take it as but start is the ID of this button. Then text associated with this button is equals to textfield.com. Android text is equals to start constraint. That is, let me go to the or we can set it here. Okay, constraint start is with the start of parent. Constraint end is to the end of parent. These two constraints are done. Then constraint top is to the bottom of txt id txt count. So all these three constraints are set. Apart from this, we want this button to be 30 dp away from txt count, from our label count value. So margin from top is set to be 30 dp. So button, first button, start button is set. Now the end button, I'll just copy this code and paste over here and write the code for end, I mean whatever stop button. Okay. So button stop, ID change to button stop. Constraint start is mapped, is constrained with the start of the parent, and is constrained with the end of the parent. Top of this is constrained to the bottom of, it's not with respect to txt count but with button start. Okay. And this 30 dp away from button stop. So these are the four like text views which are placed on this layout. Two text views and two button views. So let's look at the design part of it. So just see design. So this, our design for this counter is ready. Now we have to be very careful when we are writing code for this. Okay, so for writing the code, we'll go to main activity.java file. So over here, now what is the first thing we should be doing? Over here, we need to create reference to two buttons and reference to one text view over there. So in order to do it, let us create object of it. So let's create object of text view. So txt underscore txt underscore, what is that, count is a label associated with text view. We will create button but underscore add, which is associate, which should be linked to button in XML. Then button sub is a button which should be linked with sub. Sorry, not sub. What is this? No, name of the buttons are button start. Sorry for the naming convention. We have button start and button stop. Right. So this is created. Now Alt Enter. You're seeing here button in red cannot resolve symbol button. We have to import the button class. So that can be done by pressing Alt and Enter. Import class. The class is imported. Button class is imported over here. Then these are the three things which are required. Then apart from this, okay, what do we want is we need to maintain the flag. Okay, so flag is maintained by using flag running. So this, we require a Boolean variable, Boolean running, which is equals to false. Initially, when you are loading your app, nothing is happening over here. It's not running. We have not started with the counter. So running is made as false. When the value of running changes to true, your app will start counting. And we require a counter, integer counter variable, which will keep track of the count value. Now, on create method, when the app is created, initiated, what do we have to do? First is we need to create a reference to this text count, button start and button stop. So to do it, we are saying text count is equals to, we will typecast text view dot find, sorry, not dot, find view by ID from resource r dot ID dot, we want text count to be linked with txt count from XML file. We want to create text count is a reference to txt count in XML file. Then but start is equals to find view by ID from where, from resources r dot ID dot start button is a reference to but start, but underscore start object is a reference to but start from XML file, but underscore stop is equals to find view ID r dot ID dot, it is a reference to but stop button stop from the XML file and semicolon. See, in this code, what is written on line number 20 and 21, I have not used typecasting. Without typecasting also, based on the object type, it will happen automatically, but it is always a good idea to typecast the code what you have written. So like this to use, we will change the object to button. So the linking is done. After linking is done, what is the next activity? When you're clicking the button, something should happen. So for that something to happen, we have to write the listener. So but start dot, we will say set on click listener for the object of this class. Similarly, for button stop, we are writing set on click listener is the object of this class. Now you can see there is an error over here. Highlighted is a error. So let's see what are the show context action. So here it says that this class does not implement on click listener. So to make it listen, we have to implement on click listener. Okay, so that has to be added over here. When we do it, you can see that on click method is overridden. Override on click method. Write a code required on this on click method. So in on click method, we just check if v dot equals, if the view is equals to button start. Yes, if it is equals to button start, what do? We just make running is equals to true. Okay? We make running is equals to true, that's all. And if we check if v dot equals v dot equals is equals to button stop. So then we are making running is equal to false. Okay, and after making this changes, we are calling some function one. The fun1 is the function which is used for incrementing the counter. So now again, like fun1, it's not defined anywhere. That is why you can see it is set in red color. So let us see again. Right click, show the contest action. So it says create method main fun1 in main activity, and that is what we want. We want to create a new method, new function in the main activity. So I click on it. So private, by default private, which void fun1 is created. Now in this fun1 function 1, what do we want? What do I want to do? I want to do while running. Okay, while this boolean variable running is true equals to true, then what do? We perform certain activity, certain function. We are going to increment the value of counter by 1. Okay, counter is incremented by 1, and after incrementing it by 1, we want to set it as a label of txt count. Okay, so to do that, we say txt count dot set text. From where are we have to convert this counter value to the string. So string dot value of counter. So the counter parameter is this value of method of string class takes counter, it converts it into string. From integer, it converts it into string and set it as the text of the text count. Okay, so now let us execute this. Let's run this. This is exactly what it is supposed to do. Okay, see, let's let us execute it and check once. Please observe what is happening when we are executing this code. Okay, so Okay, I think phone got disconnected. Let me just connect it once again. Yeah. Yes. Okay, Gradle also finished. Yes. So now you can see the application is installed on my phone. I just click on start button. Okay, when I click on start button, you can see that nothing is happening over here. No, nothing is changed. I just click on stop. Still nothing is being, oh sorry. Yeah. So nothing is happening. But then I got this message, counter exercise is not responding. Close app, wait. Let me just close this app. Our app is crashed. Understand why the app is crashed. This is what I want to show you, what is happening over here. So observe this program and can you notice why these things are happening? So when you are creating this app, when you're installing this app, you're calling on create, you're calling a method, the main method, which is a UI method. Okay, so on create UI, I mean which is executed by UI thread. Right, in that UI thread we have on create function. So creation happens, linking happens, then on click function you have called on click method over here. It checks and sets the value of running and it calls a function fun1. So control goes to this fun1. This counter is this loop is getting executed while running is equals to true. Control is there given to fun1 method, right? When will the control go back? Only when your condition is false, the control will go back. And in your main UI thread we have other button, stop button, but then the control will never come back to check, to listen to what is happening on other views of your application, right? Something is running continuously and your application goes in a loop. No other event is notified happening on this application. Right? No click is being noticed. Now, how do you check? How do you say that it's running, application is running or no? So to do that, what we can do is in order to debug your application, we can use log messages. Okay, so I will have log dot, let's say like I want to use a log message for debugging purpose. So log dot b, and in this message am just it takes two parameters. First one is tag. Tag indicates just it is used like to know from where exactly these log messages are running, and we will print this message value of counter is this plus close, I mean double quotes, plus value of the counter and close of it, right? So now this is giving red color, show context section, create constant field tag in the main. So we have created a constant field tag in the main. With the object, it should be string. It is a string and just fun function from where the message is printed from fun function. Okay, and we will start running the app again. And to see these messages, you can open your logcat window. Logcat window is running continuously. It is keeping track of logs happening behind the screen. So let's like compile, build this application once again. Cannot find symbol of class. Okay, the class import was missing, so that is being done. Imported the class. App is installed successfully. Okay. Let me just click start or stop button and see what is happening in log count. See, in log count, you can see this debug messages are printed. So from function 1, the value of counter it reached so high, right? That means like this application, I mean this code of the program is getting executed. Right? It is getting executed, but at the same time, when you're looking at this app, it is not responding. Right? It is just not responding. It is not taking any events. Yeah. Close app. The application crashed again. Yeah. Now, why that is happening is, just stop this. Okay. In run also you can check your values. Okay, now how do we handle this? Instead of running the code which takes lot of time, run that code as a separate thread. When you are doing that, the operating system is going to schedule the main thread and additional worker thread separately, so that control remains with the main thread. So this we can do. Okay. Let us see how do we go about creating the threads. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry. Let's write it with the thread and see how it's going to work. So we'll have to create a class which extends thread. Class, let's say like I'm creating a class by name myCounter which extends thread, and in this we have to write a public void run is the method which is implemented in the thread, and whatever we are doing over here while running is equals to true, do all these things is done as a part of this class. Okay. The code of incrementing the counter and setting the text, I've done it as a part of thread my counter. Now what we do is, like, we have to create an object of my counter. So running is made as true over here, and now we have to call this run method. Running is made true in your on click event of start button, and we are creating an object of my counter, new my counter dot start. Okay. So my counter is the class we have created, though it's not assigned to any object as such. When I say my new my counter, the object of the class is created, and with dot start method, the run function of this class is called. Okay. So this is what we are doing as when the button is start button is clicked. Fun is not required. And in run function, what we check, if it is running, we do all these things. And on click event in the main function, you check if a button stop is pressed, just running is made as false. Now let us execute it and see. What is happening. Launched. Again, yeah, the application is launched. Right. Let me just stop it and so just with yes. I okay, observe what is happening over here. Maybe sorry, my just stop this, run it again, installed. I click on start. Sorry, yeah, I click on this start. Label is changed from counter value to 1 and application crashed. What is the reason why it is crashed? Let us see what is happening. And there we know the error. This is the error what we have got. It says that fatal exception thread minus 2 only, and the message is, this line gives us the error message: only the original thread that created view hierarchy can touch its view. Okay, see, in this program, where are we changing the label of text view? We're changing the label of text view in my counter my counter function, which is a separate thread. Right? In this separate thread, what are we saying? We are incrementing the counter and we are changing the view. We are changing this text count view, the label of the text count view, which is not possible. That is why we have got this error, which says that only the original thread that created view hierarchy can touch this view. So where is this view created? It is created and it is linked in main activity function. Okay, it is linked in main activity function. That is why it cannot be labeled over here. It cannot be touched over here. That is what the error message meant by. Right? When it comes to the view, we cannot touch the view. So now, how does we are incrementing the counter? We want a separate thread to increment the counter value, and we want to send this counter value to to our main UI thread. Now, how do we do it? So that is where our second parameter comes into picture, which is a handle. Okay, so handler is used for communication for message transfer occurring between multiple threads. Child thread can send a message to the parent thread by using this handler. So we will not change the text of text field, but what we will be doing is we will be using handler dot send empty message. We'll have to create the object of handler type here in on create function. Handler is the object of this class. So hit enter, import class handler. Handler is equals to handle message. Let me take this for 1 minute. Sharing is lost 1 minute. Text account, yeah. So we have created an object over here of handler class, and this handler has got a message, handle message, has got a method to handle the message. So whatever message is coming M, that will be handled by the handler. So handler is used for sending the message from, message will come from child process to parent process. So in this case over here, after incrementing the counter, we will call this handler dot send message, an empty message, value of counter. We will be sending, and then colon, right? So the value of the counter is put in the message queue. So of handler, and this message queue is checked periodically by the main thread. So main thread is going to check the content of the message queue, and it is going to set text of the label. Okay. And after doing it, we want to display this count periodically. So we'll just use thread dot slip method. So thread dot slip. Let's say like 1 second we need, or 1000 millisecond we want a thread to slip. Okay. So this contest action try with interrupt may occur when the thread is slipping. So we need to enclose this thread in try catch block. That is what is being done. And after that, let us execute this code and see whether the thread is responding correctly or not. Yeah. Let us launch it once. Application got launched. I click on start button. When I click on start button, on click function, you have called my counter dot start. So new thread is created, and the code is got executed. In this code, we are just incrementing the value of the counter. We are putting it in the message queue, and from the message queue, the main thread is taking the value, and it is updating this particular counter. It is incrementing it. This updation of the counter, updation of the label is happening from main, but updation of the counter itself is happening from my counter thread, and label is getting updated in the main function. Okay, and when we say stop, see other buttons also over here are working. When we say start, the counter value is incremented in my counter thread. Updation of the label is happening in main. And when I say stop, see other buttons are working over here. When I say stop, counter incrementation of the counter is stopped. That means the other components on your application are working fine. So that is where thread comes into picture. Instead of doing time consuming activities in the main thread, main UI thread, give that work to the worker thread, so that you get a better response from the running thread. So that is all, what we have discussed all about the concept of threads. Okay. So we have finished the design of this. Now the next is all about the intents. We'll see. So far what we have covered is this. We know what are threads. Okay, they are lightweight processes. When your creation of the threads is easier, what are different various types of threads? There are two types of threads in the Android: main thread, which is a UI thread, and worker threads. We know like why threads are required. In order to get better response, we require threads. And how do we create it? Is by using extend method or by using implement interface. And for the communication, we use a handler. Handler is used, and the message queue. So when child thread wants to send any message, it will be added to the message queue, and main thread will read it from the message queue by using handler object. So this is what we have covered in our first topic. Second one is all about intents. So what are intents? When we have multiple activities happening, when we want two apps to share data with each other, there is where this intents comes into picture. Or within the app also, when the data is set, intents are used. So an intent is to perform an action on the screen, and it is mostly used to start activity, send some broadcast receivers, start services, and send messages between two activities. So communication between the two apps or between two activities happen by using intents. There are two types of intents available: implicit intents and explicit intents. So we'll see it in this mobile dialer activity. So this is the activity. This is the application what you need to design. So in this application, we are having couple of buttons. Let me describe the functionality of this button. This application is phone dialer. So in this application, you should be able to enter the phone number, dial it, save it, okay, or that is what, make a call or save it. So we have buttons to do it. We have button from number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 0. These are the buttons which are available. Apart from this, we have some star and hash buttons. Then there is a delete button which is used. There is this text view where we are storing the number, the click number, and if there is any deletion want to do, that is done by using the functionality of the delete button. And then there is a call button. When we press the call, the number in this text view will be called, and with save button we are saving the contact to our contract to the saving it in our mobile, right? So this is what this application should do, and this is a design layout for it, right? So we will quickly do the design layout and put it over here. Let us create new project. Before that, let me just close this project. Any doubt in the previous project? Say it is my dialer. Save it. It's getting loaded. Okay. Hello world default label. I'm just deleting it. We have buttons. Let me take plain text, which is attribute. Let me search and change the text field of it. text of it is phone dialer. Okay. Then we will increase font of it. Size. Take it to 30. Constraint. Let's put the constraints. And then top to the top of the parent. Let us take it down a little bit. Then we are having next edit field. Okay. Yes. Text. Put button. Name of it is delete. Put the constraints. This is constrained to the top of this. This is also constrained to top of this. But if it is having distance of 30, this also has a distance of 30 from there. Okay. We have to change the name and other things. Okay, all the buttons are created. Not all, we are in the process of creating it. Constraint of this, we are putting a constraint on 3 sides. Fix, right? So let me design it. Meanwhile, do you have any doubts? Yeah, noticed it. Yeah. So this is uh, the design of our phone dialer put up with the constraint. Let me explain the code associated with this. So what are we supposed to do in this? Whenever any button is clicked, whenever button 1, whenever this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, what is star, 0 or hash is clicked, corresponding content should be appended with the content of this text view, right? That is what we are supposed to do. And when we press delete, the least significant character should be deleted. So let's say like the text has got a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we say delete, 5 should be deleted from it. And when you call the number, we should be calling the number placed in this text field, and with the save option, the number should be saved in your phone directory. So now let's see like how do we go about it with respect to the code. So code is written in main activity .java. I have this code available. So instead of writing this code, let me explain the reference with respect to this code. Necessary packages which are required for importing are given over here. So we start with our onCreate with our main activity. So in main activity, in order to set a proper connection, proper reference to the components available in our XML file, we have created this object. So we have button 1, button type object, button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, and so on till button 0. So we have 10 objects of type button for referencing 10 number buttons available in our app. Apart from that, we have a reference to button delete, button star, button hash, button call, and button save. And we have one added text phone number. Okay, where we can see the phone number, it is taken as the text. So these are the objects which are required in our application. Then on create method in this application, we are setting up the reference. So for example, button 1 is a reference to button _1 from XML file. That is done by our find view ID method, and we are setting on click listener, button 1 dot set on click listener to this particular button. So similarly, in the similar fashion, the reference is made for remaining buttons. So for button and other and the text field as well. So text number, the reference is made. And apart from this, apart from referencing it, we are setting on click listener event for this button. Button 1 dot set on click listener this. So when this is done, we need to write a code for on click. So let us look at the code of on click view V. So over here we check which button is pressed. Okay, if V dot equals button 1, if we have pressed button 1, then txt phone number dot append 1. To the phone number, we are appending phone number field, we are appending 1. Next, we check else if V dot equals button 2. If button 2 is pressed, then text phone number dot append 2. If third button is pressed, we are appending text field, text with value as 3, and so on. So that is done for all 10 buttons from digit 0 to digit 1, and also to star and hash button. Appending is done. The important for us over here is this: when we are doing save. When we are doing, where are we saving? When we say v dot equals button pressed is save button. Where are we storing, saving? We are saving something in our contact list, right? So to do that, we need to create an object of intent class. So we are saying intent contact intent is equals to new intent. We are creating an object of intent class. And what type of intent is that? The intent is used for communicating between multiple different apps. So what type of intent is this? It is contact contract type of intent. It is supposed to do it is supposed to take some action. Okay, the action can be like either writing, reading the context, and so on. So intent is see, when you are just like moving your cursor, you will get help on it. Okay, it is the contract between context provider and application. It contains definition for the support URIs and columns. This APIs, whatever information required is is given on the help menu. So contact intent dot set type. It is of type. There are 3 types of contracts which are available. Out of this, it is of type row contents. So row content, it is used for storing name of the person along with the phone number. Then contact intent put extra. Okay, what it is putting? It is putting name field is put as unknown. Let's see like how it works. And it is putting the phone number. Okay, name field you should be typing. We have not written in our application. We do not have that name field. When you're dialing, we do not require it. In fact, so it is put as unknown. And in our the phone number is read from our text field. So text phone number dot get text. You're reading the phone number from the text field, and you are converting it into the string, and using the put extra method, this phone number is displayed on the activity which is used for saving the phone number. Then we are calling start activity with contact intent. Okay, with this contact intent object, you are starting the activity which is used for storing your phone number. So that is what is done by this intent field, by using the intent object. Next one is when we are deleting. When we said when the delete option is pressed and the delete button is pressed, you should read the content of txt phone number, get text, convert it into string, and you check if the data length of that is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then text phone number dot set text. What are we setting it with? Data dot substring, starting from 0 to data length minus to the length of the data minus 1. So what does the substring function do? Data length will give the length of the data. Let's say in your string you have got 5 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The data length is equals to 5. Right? So when we say data length minus 1, we'll get it as 4. So 4 characters will be taken. Substring will be consisting of 4 characters starting from character 0. If your phone number has got some 10 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4 till 0, And when we are using this substring 0 to data length minus 1, so 10 minus 1, 9. So 9 digits will be taken from the phone number. That is what this substring function do. Okay, so text phone number dot set text. You're going to set. You're going to put this substring in your text field in your, of the dialer. Else, if it is not greater than 0, length is not greater than 0, then text phone number dot set text, it will be set with the empty. And now when the call button is pressed, again we are making use of other application, so we require intent over here. So when call button is pressed, we are storing the phone number, txt phone number dot get text to string to the string variable by name data, calling intent, and it takes some action, intent dot action dial. Okay, actually to make a call, dial app is required, dialing application is required. So that is what is being called by this start activity. And before that, we need to pass the data. What is it which we need to dial? We need to dial telephone with this particular data. And start activity will call the activity which is required for making the phone call. So this is all about the intents. In this application, we have used two intents. One is used for calling save application, saving the phone number application, and second one is called for making the phone call. Okay, and this is the syntax what we have discussed. Let's run this application and see how it works. Yeah. A minute, it got disconnected again. Yeah, so we have a dialer app ready with us. Let us see. I'm pressing 1. So label over here got changed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Please note that we have not done any validation in this app. 0. When we say delete, the last number what we have entered will be deleted. Okay, so like if I want to dial some proper number, let's say like 97, this is number what I'm having. So I'll just say call. So call will be going. If the number is available in the directory, this is an other application which is used for the calling purpose. So with the intent, we are able to pass the data which is available with us over here. And then let's say like if I want to change something over here and then say save, we will come to this activity where the name is come as unknown. Okay, using the intent has passed information where the name is unknown and the phone number is this phone number. When you save it, let's say like I'm saving it as net and save. So this number got saved in my directory. So go over here, check. Added to my phone directory. So this is all about this particular application, which is a phone dialer application, where we have learned how to communicate between the different apps by using Intent. So that's all for today's session, today's morning session. If anything, any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we are breaking now, and we are going to continue our next session at 2:20. Sorry, we are going to continue it at 2 o'clock today. Right? Thank you so much. You can log out.